Today on Outside the Box Reviews, we are capping off Predator Week with the NECA Predators Wave 10, the Kenner Tribute line, and this is the Lava Planet Predator. And just by that name alone, I feel like we have dipped as deep as possible into Kenner territory here. Goofy kind of name, goofy kind of look, translucent plastic. This is the kind of thing I think of when I used to go to one of my favorite comic shops in Orlando. It's exactly the kind they always had hanging from the wall with their vintage Predator stuff. There always seemed to be a good supply of these translucent ones, because I think by not looking as much like an actual Predator, being see-through, they kind of didn't get as much attention. But I was willing to give NECA a shot with this one. I thought they could pull something off cool, so let's take a closer look. Lava Planet Predator's sword will probably look familiar to you. It's the Elder's sword, painted red with a black handle and a white end here. I would have really liked it if this part was translucent. I think that would have been cool, but it's not. But it's a decent little sword. This part always worries me. It looks so brittle and small, but just to be careful with it, I guess. And here we have old Crabhead, and really it just looks like that to me. It kind of reminds me of Destroya from Godzilla, but it's kind of a cool mask. Looks a little gas masky, has these kind of talons coming down. The eyes are still with the translucent plastic, so even though you can see the mesh in there, I guess if you put a light behind him, it would really light him up. But the rest of the mask is kind of this coppery, almost metallic red. Pretty neat looking. He has this translucent dreadlocks back here with silver jewelry on them. His shoulder cannon is actually really cool. They put the cannon shape from the Tracker Predator onto the cannon mount from the City Hunter, or the Lost Tribe. So that's kind of a neat mix together of pieces. The cannon's translucent, but it does have a silver barrel on there. And speaking of the Lost Tribe body, this is it. This is the City Hunter body repurposed yet again. But I have to give it to NECA. They gave us some great variants with the line. The first figure was a Jungle Hunter repaint. The second one was a Super Predator repaint, and this one's a City Hunter. So they used all three of their available Predator bodies to knock out this line, and I do have to give them props for doing that. But the armor on here is pretty standard. It's actually silver up here, but it fades over to the translucent red and painted red on this side. Gauntlet on this arm looks pretty much as it has been in the past, once again mixing the painted and translucent. The hand looks like a little Jolly Rancher with some added yellow and black paint on it, which the yellow and black has a great effect on here. Really cool looking. A very neat kind of rip in the cloaking technology, because according to NECA, these guys just lived in the volcanic section of the Predator planet. It doesn't make as much sense to me when you're calling it a Lava Planet Predator, but whatever. But their cloaking devices were active nearly all the time, and this is just kind of like the rippling of it. Here on the other gauntlet with the actual blade is this big kind of crab-shaped blade and this big awesome gauntlet, and it actually does extend and retract on here. I wouldn't have expected it would. The toy originally looked a lot like this, but actually being able to extend it's pretty neat. And then it has this big thick hose coming off the back, connecting to the back of the armor, where I have my biggest problem, because the whole back of this figure is just translucent red. And I guess maybe that's supposed to allow more light to pass through or something, but God, is that unappealing. That is just unappealing looking. Totally. Back around to the front where it looks better. He does have some paint on his loincloth here. A little bag. We have what would have been the disc holder. This lower torso part, I think this is actually more Shaman Predator, if I remember correctly, where it actually hides over the disc launcher. You wouldn't have access to that, but still pretty neat looking. I like it. And a different torso piece than we've gotten a lot of, which is cool. Standard shin guards, just more translucent Jolly Rancher plastic. For articulation, we have a ball joint at the head, a little hindered, but not too bad. The mask is just huge on him, which I think is the source of the problem. Pin socket shoulder, of course, going to be limited by this hose, but the hose is very long. Forward and back, up and down. Bend and rotate at the elbow. Pretty limited because of the gauntlet. Ball joint at each hand, which we have the open hand here and the gripping hand for the sword over here. Ball joint at the waist. Swivel a little forward and back. Pin socket at the legs, forward, back, out to the side, not hindered by the clothing. Swivel at the upper thigh. Double jointed knees. And ball jointed feet. I have to say, over the whole 10 waves, I cannot believe it's been 10 waves plus others of this Predator line that NECA's done. They've done some very cool translucent and semi-translucent figures. I don't think this is one of them. I think by leaving the back so plain and bland, it really just detracts from the figure. I think they could have done something really fun there. Added some cool detail, because I love the way this black and yellow looks on his chest. They would have expanded that to the back, added some more silver and black detail for the armor. It would have been cool. I think I would have been down with it, but the fact that this thing just looks like a gummy bear or a Jolly Rancher, like I keep saying, it just doesn't do it for me. The cloaked, and particularly the semi-cloaked, I think the semi-cloaked Super Predators have been my favorite translucence thing that NECA has done lately. I really dig those. This guy just kind of comes off a little blander to me. He's not one that I'm super excited about. And that stinks, because the stuff that's actually new sculpted on him, the giant hose is appealing, the extra kind of cool wrist blade, the giant mask. I love the switch up they did with the cannon. So he's not that far into the territory of not recommend. I mean, he's just barely in the territory of not recommend. It just doesn't do anything for me. But if translucence is your thing, if you love a good translucent figure, I'm sure you'll probably have some love for this guy. He's just not doing it for me. I wish he was. I wish I had happier feelings towards this guy, because I want to like him. I like the other two figures in this wave, and this one actually being the last one I picked out, it kind of sucks that I'm going out on a sour note here, because I really didn't want to. So that is gonna wrap up Predator Week, Series 10. Can you believe it? Predator has been the lifeblood of Outside the Box reviews. My first reviews that weren't even done on this channel were Predators, so I have pretty much done Predator reviews with each wave that has come out, and it's hard to believe that it's been 10 at this point. And you know what's even better than that? We'll have Wave 11 before this year is out. Wave 11 is supposed to hit before Christmas, and that's going to give us the Heat Vision Dutch, the next part to our Dead End series, the Wasp Predator, and it's going to give us a really neat redo on the Lost Predator from the Predator 2 line, with a big sword and a biomask and some extra armor, which I am actually really excited to get. And then around the same time, actually any day now from what I've heard, we're going to be seeing another 2-pack in stores that is going to be Final Battle Dutch and Predator. So it's going to be shirtless, not so muddy Dutch versus bleeding Predator. And you better believe I'll be picking that one up as well. I don't know if I'll wait till next Predator Week to review it, or if I'll just tag it on there somewhere floating on its own, but rest assured I will be reviewing that piece as well. Make sure you check out Outside the Box Reviews on Facebook. There'll be a link below. Check out Outside the Box Reviews on Instagram. Username Outside the Box Reviews. And until next time, this wraps up Predator Week number 10. But stay tuned for more reviews to come. If you collect it, you can find it at allscaleseverything.com.